Germany. Germany actually, you think of Prussia, by Germany I mean Prussia. Germany is yet to be formed. उसके पहले वाली बात चल रही है एंड बाद में जर्मनी की भी बात होगी. ठीक है. So constraint, challenges and barriers. In the second industrialization, Germany emerged as a leading country, but for its industrialization, Germany had to overcome series of obstacles. The first obstacle was we had 300 tiny states. That we have seen the political fragmentation led to the fragmentation of the market. Different norms, different rules, different currency, different weight systems, different tax structure. Serfdom was existing in German region, so peasants were tied to the land and there was dearth of sufficient labor. Serfdom abolition happens little later than in the western part. Apart from that, paternalistic laws were prevailing in Germany. These laws put check over the free settlement of people from the one region to other region. तो वहाँ पे free settlement नहीं थी. In every city, you were citizen of cities like Hamburg. So अब Hamburg citizen, you cannot go and settle in another city very easily. You belong to certain region. So there was no movement of goods, no movement of people also. Above all, in Germany, unlike Britain, there was, I missed one point. In a major part of the Germany, old system of production, the guild system, was still prevailing, and above all in Germany, unlike Britain, there was a dearth of individual capital for investment. If these are the preconditions, and you want to go on a path of industrialization by overcoming these problems, तो आपको जो रास्ता इख्तियार करना है, it cannot be Control C, Control V of Britain. कुछ आपको challenges अलग है, रास्ता अलग से निकल के आएगा. So therefore, because the conditions existing in other countries were different, sometimes economic, sometimes socio-political, sometimes geographic also, capital related also, so the path they undertook was different, the impact was also different. But in spite of these barriers mentioned above, Germany went for industrialization and emerged as the most industrialized nation in Europe. It went through multiple phases. Early industrialization, industrial takeoff and high industrialization. वो तो ठीक है, वी डोंट वांट टू गो इनटू द क्रोनोलॉजिकल सेंस, देख के रखा है यहाँ पे. हमें मेथड्स क्या है एंड हाउ दे आर डिफरेंट वो देखना है. फर्स्ट पॉइंट इन द मेथड, Napoleon was unconscious catalyst for German. We have seen Napoleon was unconscious catalyst for both industrialization as well as emergence of German nationalism. दोनों तरफ है वो. So first of all, base work was done by Napoleon Bonaparte. After conquering Germany, just reorganized German states into 16 bigger states in place of 300 tiny states, and this led to market integration. We had focused on it, led to political integration. We discussed nationalism. अब देखेंगे market integration. Furthermore, Napoleon Bonaparte introduced a continental system in this trade war against Britain. Under this system, British goods were boycotted everywhere, including in Germany. So naturally, this incident resulted in German goods in the German region. So देखो, कोई भी country के industrialization में there are some prerequisites like primitive capital accumulation etc. उसमें से एक है वो है domestic market होना. If you do not have a domestic market, you cannot create enough commodities and then become self-sustainable to produce for the global market. वो बाद में आएगा. Initially you produce for domestic market only, but for the domestic market has to exist. It has to have some demand for your commodities. तो उसमें से पहले अरब को हटा दो. Then you have role of Prussia. Among German states, Prussia was the leading region, and Prussia had always given priority to economic issues. Prussian government used to appoint a merchant for the post of finance minister. In the Congress of Vienna, Prussia exchanged some Polish region with iron and coal producing Rhine region. Gradually, serfdom was abolished and even paternalistic laws were abolished in 1849. So Prussia went for industrialization, and this industrialization stimulated even in other parts of Germany. Then you have bank-led growth hypothesis, joint stock banks and universal banks. Lastly, there was a question of investment of capital in industrialization. The role was played by individual capital in Britain was played by joint stock banks in Germany. तो जो काम लोगों, देखो ये सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि from where the capital comes. In case of Britain, we had seen it was a private capital. But what private? We had discussed 3-4 avenues: slave trade, Plassey plunder, colonization, commercial revolution, and the most important, domestically you have agricultural revolution. All these four avenues gave capital to private people, and those private individuals put it into market. But in other countries these things did not take place. So they wanted capital. Capital आएगा कहाँ से? In case of Russia, for example, Russian state खुद करेगा. Russian state क्या करेगा? दुनिया से कर्जा उठाएगा और फिर मार्केट में खुद लगाएगा. So state's role became dominant because Russia comes much later. Germany बीच में. Germany में you have joint stock banks. So you create some banks which float some shares. You collect some, you mop the capital from the market, and then through the banks it goes into industry. So joint stock banks are a very important part in Germany. In Germany, apart from that, there was a long tradition of promotion of primary education right from the period of Prussian monarch Frederick the Great, an enlightened monarch. The German model of industrialization was inspired by an economist, Frederick List. This person is extremely important. तो ये दो चीजें जो है, एक तो education and secondly list system, protectionism. These two things, German and American, are exactly the same. For example, in Britain, what happened? In Britain, you have the industrial revolution, then there is a pressure from the people and industrialists, and then you make education compulsory for everybody. So Britain did not depend on the high skilled labor from the very beginning. Rather, the machinery also was not required of that kind. Industrial machinery initially was very simple. Tweaking karo aage chalo. But now in 1950s, 60s, 70s, the machinery has become high quality. आपको skilled labor शुरू से चाहिए जो पढ़ पाए, जो basic समझ पाए. That comes from education. So both in case of America and Germany, compulsory primary education became the prerequisite of creating skilled labor for the industry. The second thing that is common to both America and German industrialization is protectionist policies. बस नाम चेंज होते हैं, पॉलिसी एक ही है. In case of Germany, the thinker is Frederick List. In case of America, it is Hamilton. Both of them are asking to create tariff barriers to shield the domestic market from global competition, ताकि अपने लोगों का फायदा हो. ठीक है. Then you have two main factors market integration के लिए. In 1830s and 40s, there was an expansion of railways in Germany. So the internal market of Germany developed. It acted as both backward and forward linkage and helped in the takeoff of. ये तो बहुत कितनी बार बताऊँ मैं, बार बता रहा हूँ, बहुत simple है. And this market was further integrated by Zollverein. So you have two types of integrations. One is communication, transportation revolution. Other is custom unification. So transportation and custom, both of these collectively created market, domestic market, strong domestic market, which is a prerequisite of industrialization. And then role of science was extremely important in the industries. This point is very typical of German industrialization, high dependence on science. The catch-up industrial revolution in Germany differed from the pioneering country of Great Britain in that the key industries became not the textile industry but coal, steel and railroad. And कौन सा नाम देखो आप, you know these names. स्टील में क्रप्स, जो थाइसन क्रप्स आज है वो कब बनी, तभी तो बनी थी. I have this photo of क्रप्स का armament. There was something called as World Expo by that time. You should know that. It's very interesting, although not in syllabus. World Expo. ये क्या हर 2-4-5 साल में यूरोप में इन वन मेजर सिटी दुनिया भर की कंपनियां आएंगी एंड एक्सपो, जैसे आज होते हैं एक्सपो, अलग अलग इंडस्ट्री के एक्सपो था. वी हैव क्रिएटेड भारत मंडपम फॉर एक्सपो ओनली. राइट, वी आर इन द फेज वेयर यूरोप वाज 150-200 years ago. हम उसमें भी एंट्री कर रहे हैं. बट एनीवे, सो दिस एक्सपो, दिस लंदन एक्सपो ऑफ 1850 वाज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो उस एक्सपो में अलग अलग कंट्रीज, अलग अलग कंपनीज अपने पैविलियन बुक करके टू शोकेस देयर स्ट्रेंथ एंड देयर ग्रेटनेस. So one of the expos was 1873 Vienna Expo, first one in Central Europe. In that we had most important section was section of artillery. एक किताब पढ़ी थी एंथनी सैमसन्स की, The Arms Bazaar. In that Arms Bazaar, he started with this expo. Fantastic किताब थी. So where he talked about कि industrialization created modern war techniques also, and nation state बिकेम पावरफुल, क्योंकि ऐसी आपको तोप बनानी है, तोप बनाना बहुत उस समय की ये न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी है. सो इन दैट आर्टिलरी सेक्शन विच बिकेम द वेरी, हजारों लोग जाके देख के आए थे उसको. देयर द मोस्ट फेमस अट्रैक्शन वाज क्रप्स 40 cm, कि जर्मनी कैन क्रिएट सच आर्टिलरी नाउ. बट एनीवे, इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन का मतलब ये भी होता है, ये समझो. साइंस, सो क्रप्स, वी हैव ऑटो इंडस्ट्री, मर्सिडीज बेंज. एक्चुअली मर्सिडीज में थोड़ी बाद में आई थी, आई विल वेरीफाई वंस, बट एनीवे. केमिकल इंडस्ट्री, सिंथेटिक डाइज सब्स्टिट्यूटेड इंडिगो इन इंडिया, वी नो दैट. इंडिगो रिबेलियन के बाद इंडिगो खत्म क्यों होता है इंडिया में? बिकॉज सिंथेटिक डाइज आर फाउंड इन, डिस्कवर्ड और इन्वेंटेड इन जर्मनी. इलेक्ट्रिकल इंडस्ट्री लाइक सीमेंट्स, इवन टुडे अपने कितने सारे मेट्रो के लिए सीमेंट्स की जरूरत पड़ती है. इन मोस्ट ऑफ द मेट्रो सिस्टम्स इन इंडिया, इलेक्ट्रिकल अप्लायंसेस कहाँ से आते हैं? अप्लायंसेस ने इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजिन एंड मोटर्स कहाँ से? सीमेंट से आते हैं. इफ हैव विजिटेड एनी रेलवे कार शेड और मेट्रो कार शेड देखी है आपने कभी? यू शुड विजिट इट समटाइम. And then ultimately you have German unification, which further accelerated the growth. Now it had a wider impact. The common great impact तो हमको पता ही है. There was a wider impact also. Its immediate impact was German unification. We had discussed it from the other side when we said कि coal and iron led to German unification and not blood and iron. उस point की बात कर रहे हैं. British economist Keynes had tried to link the phenomenon of unification of Germany to the phenomenon of iron and coal. Then unified Germany created a major problem for the balance of power in Europe. This point we have to see later on in detail, but फिर भी अभी थोड़ा झलक है उसकी. In fact, the German capitalist class created a social base for unification in the hope that a unified Germany could give support to German industrialist class in the manner the British Empire had been giving support to British capitalist class. Simple. समझ में आया पॉइंट ये? When the Zollverein created the capitalist class, they had the interest. उनको चाहिए थी दो चीजें. एक चीज ये थी कि domestic market should be shielded from the British competition. But who will bring the protectionist policy? Only the unified centralized state. तो ब्रिटिश कैपिटलिज्म के खिलाफ डोमेस्टिक मार्केट को शील्ड करने के लिए द जर्मन कैपिटलिज्म सपोर्टेड यूनिफिकेशन, ताकि एक स्टेट बने एंड इट शुड गिव प्रोटेक्शनिस्ट पॉलिसी. एंड सेकेंडली देयर इज ग्लोबल कंपटीशन ऑल्सो. अब ग्लोबल कंपटीशन हमें क्या चाहिए? वी वांट कॉलोनी. ब्रिटिश हैव देयर कॉलोनी, वी वांट आवर ओन कॉलोनी. बट हु विल हैव कॉलोनी? कंपनी कैन नॉट क्रिएट अ कॉलोनी. वो जमाना चला गया. नाउ द नेशन स्टेट इज रिक्वायर्ड. So naturally, the unification of Germany resulted in rivalry between British Empire and German Empire for the search of the market. Finally, it resulted in the First World War. You have to connect industrialization to World War I via national rivalry. You have to connect industrialization with World War I via nationalist rivalry. ये बेसिक फंडा है. ठीक है.